That was a mesmerizing performance. I would now like to call upon stage Mr. Chandar Mansharmani, Director TIES and MD Alcod Network, to welcome our chief guest. That is Dr. Rajiv Sood, Vice Chancellor, Punjab State Health University and Governing Council, National Medical Council. Mr. Sood, over to you for the keynote speech.
Good morning, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, and all the dignitaries, they are all off the dais. Nobody is on the dais. So this is a new experience. I'm a medical doctor, teacher. I had spent time in medical profession and with many conferences, as they have identified that it was an era. For last 45 years I have been around, and 2002 was the time when Government of India declared Incredible India, and after that the whole scenario changed for India. We were earlier depending on our tourism through conferences. You know, there is domestic tourism or inbound or outbound tourism was there, and we were amongst the fortunate ones when we started in 80s and 90s moving around, and we found that what all is happening. And then we realized that what is happening in India. In India, we were not exploiting our potential. Our country has a different fabric. We have 369 languages, more than 3,000 traditions, and also heritage, culture, which was just depicted here. We have if we talk about religion, this is the only country where all the religions are there and all the faiths are there and they coexist. So it is really incredible India. And I remember when we were traveling to Egypt or to in early days, early years, and we were surprised that from different countries the couples were coming for weddings. And now in August, 19th August 2023, Ministry of Tourism has launched the campaign for inviting wedding couples to India. So this is what all is happening. There are some gaps. There is lot of improvements in our approach which is needed. So you all, the industry partners and stakeholders are here. But I have landed, I was there in Turkey, Istanbul, and I took the 112, Mr. Chandar knows that I took 112 doctors there in this, and today morning only we landed back, and 50% of them were with their families. They can afford. Somebody was talking today when I came that medical tourism may not last. That is not true. After Second World War, there was bloom in the tourism. You know that Thomas Cook in I think 1841 or so started the concept of tourism, travel and tourism combined with the conference. He took 500 people on the train journey. And in India, the father of tourism was Mr. Mohanlal Oberoi with the chain of hotels. So you need hotels, you need the destinations, you need the attractions, you need so many aspects. And when I was there, I'm not a event manager or something. I only represent the medical community. But they started asking, and we have to answer. They started asking that in India there are so many devtas, so many misconceptions are there. Then with the knowledge of interaction with various spiritual gurus and other people, I told they are not Ishwar, they are devtas. Devtas is our mother and father are also devtas. They are giving you something. And then they told that you say that God is one. Yes, it is one. So who is Bhagwan? So Bhagwan, so these are the things which I am not supposed to tell, but this is the culture which is to be developed. Then Devtas and Bhagwan. Bhagwan, who is Bhagwan? Bhagwan is 5 letters, like Dr. Mr. Chandar was just telling that I was discussing with him, so he was very much involved in this discussion. And when we were attracting the conference to India, I had to go and present, and now I think 2 days back I was elected to represent India for 132 countries for the urology community, and we are doing now conference in India. So I was telling that who is Bhagwan? Bhagwan is Bhumi, Gagan. You take 5 letters, Agni, Vayu, and Neer, that is water. So that is Bhagwan. Then they told that Allah and all other religions, Ekonkar and maybe Brahma and all. I'm seeing the spiritual leaders are sitting here, but I am very small in front of them. But I told, yes, Ishwar is one. Devtas are many, Ishwar is one. And when they were, I found that everybody was crowding. With very little knowledge which I was having, I was able to attract so many people. And they were telling that, yes, we should go to India. So when we combinedly do some effort, our affordability is coming up. As I was mentioning that during Second World War, and after that tourism boost was there, then in COVID, we did many conferences. We did many medical conferences, lectures. Telemedicine is legalized. So once the telemedicine was legalized in March 2020, it was assumed that now the tourism, medical tourism will go. But what happened? You can't interact. You can't go and see the cities. We had gone to, I'm coming from Istanbul today, Cappadocia or other places, so many places, people were roaming around, some have stayed back. So you need to know the culture, faith, traditions, and also I was talking about the weddings, which is a big now business also for you, event management. It is all that how you go and organize and how you make everybody comfortable. Affordability is increasing. This is the largest industry which we have realized. And I represent Punjab State Health University. I am the Vice Chancellor. When I reached there, I joined there, I think I was the Dean of Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital. I joined there and then I just came to know that it is the silver jubilee for the university and golden jubilee for the hospital there. So immediately in my mind, I started planning event and alumni and how to call people, how to involve the traditions, local traditions of Punjab. And then we started talking, then you need brand ambassador. It is not one thing that you are doing some event, whether it is your family program, whether we had gastronomy tour, that all the dishes and all. I remember this Delhi Hut when started and later on Pragati Maidan. All the states of India, They were putting their stalls and different kind of food was there and people are very much interested. And same thing we were doing there. So heritage tours, 8 hours people were walking. Here you ask for taxi and that, but there Stockholm I had gone, there also tour. We had gone to different countries. It is everywhere this culture is developing. One thing is lacking. I think you all are here, wherever we go, whatever is the historical place, by ecotourism and preserving the nature and without destroying the place, we have been doing our programs in big museums. In the evening we do that in all over the world. And also in the historical places. Here most of the places are banned. So I think if you all join hands, it will give big boost to the industry. Because these places should be opened in controlled way so that it will give lot of attraction. And with my experience, I must have organized, as organizer, not as the event manager. I have taken your help only in each and every event. But in my at least more than 150 conferences or meetings, theme-based, I have organized. And every time we have something in mind that what new we can give. Same people, same doctors of our society, they are coming and they always see, okay, Dr. Sood is involved, so something new will happen. So I keep on exploring. You also keep on exploring. Let us all work together. There is a great future. It will add to the income to our country also. There is a greatest opportunity, fastest growing industry, travel and tourism integrated with incredible India. So I welcome you all to this evening, this morning, and I think it will go for 2 days. So all the best for the program and the proceedings. I think with this brainstorming, we will reach new heights and we will be mutually benefited. Thank you very much.
We would now like to felicitate our guest, our chief guest. So thank you for bringing such rich perspectives on medical tourism to this luxury conclave. Can we have on stage Ms. Jyoti Mayal, Director, the Iconic Experiences Show and President TIE, Mr. Balbir Mayal, Managing Director, Red Hat Communication, and Mr. Raktim Das, Chief Growth Officer, TV9 Network, to please come on stage and felicitate our chief guest. We present a sustainable gift, a planter to support the sustainable initiatives, which is pretty much also one of the thoughts of this experiences show. Thank you, sir. Before we move ahead, I would request our team to play out an AV which provides us a peek into how the 2-day gala event will unfold. Can we please have the AV?
Experiencing luxury is no more a luxury. And more so, when you're here at the Iconic Experiences Show, where travel, wellness, weddings, and MICE are adorning their grand luxurious avatar. Welcome to a curated collection of exquisite products and services as we create moments of grandeur and sophistication for connoisseurs of luxury like you. An ultimate platform for industry visionaries where luxury meets aspirations. In this 2-day extravaganza, we bring to you masterclasses, enlightening keynotes, engaging fireside chats, and insightful panel discussions. Not just this, exclusive B2B meetings, power breakfast with selected buyers, and networking over the sundowner. Witness the magic of grand weddings at our show. Explore the immersive experiences offered by exhibitors where you can connect, engage, and be inspired. At the Iconic Experiences show, you can become part of a community that values excellence, opulence, and unforgettable memories. Brought to you by Red Hat Communications, TV9 Network, News9 Plus, the world's first news OTT, and Alcod Pro Mice.
Now I would like to talk about our organizer TV9, India's #1 news network, who's a proud partner at the Iconic Experiences show. After disrupting the news broadcast industry by emerging as the #1 news network in a short span, TV9 Network has created yet another benchmark by launching world's first news OTT, News9 Plus. News9 Plus caters to a very niche segment of audience, people who want perspectives on the daily din of news, the upwardly mobile, knowledge worker, the experience-seeking globetrotter. In a short span, we curate content for you. Here's a glimpse into what News9 Plus has to offer. Can we please have the AV?
Let the games begin.
Do we have lifelines?
Why leave it to chance?
Bring it on. You will love.
On Connoisseur Conversations, spin the wheel, move your counter, take up a task depending on your luck.
You talk of Indian cuisine and you think of kebabs. And you think of Indian kebabs and you think of pork tikka masala.
What you wear communicates so much to the person in front of you.
I'm Akanksha Monga and I travel for a living.
Many entrepreneurs have not seen the light of day because they gave up too early. I'm going to show you how it is possible.
We will unleash the creative power of our best scientists, engineers, and entrepreneurs to build a better world.
It doesn't get any bigger than this. This is our moment to tell the world that rocket science is a piece of cake for us.
किचन इज द ओनली प्लेस जो फुल दंगल ये है रेसिपी लेकिन इसको ब्रेक कर दोगे तो बल्ले बल्ले
All right, I'm sure you would have loved it. You can stream News9 Plus on smartphones, tablets, desktops, smart TVs coming soon, and other streaming devices anywhere, anytime, on demand. You can also download and watch your favorite content offline. I would now like to move on to the welcome address. So I would like to call upon stage Ms. Jyoti Mayal, Director of the Iconic Experiences show, to come on stage and deliver the welcome address. Jyoti ji holds various prominent positions in the industry. Let's have her on stage. With a round of applause, please. The scion of travel industry.
Thank you, Garima. It's such a pleasure to be here, actually. Good morning, everyone. It's such a nice feeling to see so many friends around. And actually, I can relate to each one of you so well. So I think that gives me the power to stand here today and say a few words to just address and welcome this. Thank you, everyone, for being here and in such huge number. So they say when information is contextualized, it becomes knowledge. And when knowledge compels conviction, it becomes wisdom. And that's what we are gathered here today for. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to welcome you once again to the Iconic Experiences show, where we'll explore the concept and practice of experiential tourism relenting and resulting in luxury. They say tourism is the industry of happiness. It was said by Tom Wheeler, and it truly is, because tourism is the most positive thing in the world today. Just a little bit of stats before I get the ball rolling. Luxury tourism is a segment of the travel industry that offers high-end and exclusive experiences to affluent travelers. According to a report by Allied Market Research, the global luxury travel market was valued at $638.2 billion in 2021, and it's projected to reach $1,650.5 billion by 2031. It is projected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 8.9% from 2022 to 2031. The report also states that Europe will account for 29% for it. And according to Statista study, India's luxury tourism revenue was estimated at $3.9 billion in 2019, with $2.6 billion came from domestic travelers and $1.3 billion came from international travelers. The study also projected that the revenue would reach $4.5 billion by 2024, which is just around the corner, when domestic revenue would be accounting for $3.2 billion and international revenue accounting to $1.3 billion, and those are huge numbers, and let's get prepared for it. But how and why is something we need to touch on. But before I go back to ties, I'm going to just say this. I chair a lot of associations. I'm the president of the Travel Agents Association of India. I'm the chairperson for the Tourism and Hospitality Skill Council under the aegis of Ministry of Skill Development. I'm also the vice chair of FAITH, which is a Federation of Indian Associations of Tourism and Hospitality, 10 of them. So I think that is what actually has brought me here, to share whatever little I could have gained and imbibed in my life, to share what I can do. Because as I speak, changes are happening. I'm often asked, how do we deliver experiences? And I'm often asked by all my members, which are 3,000 of them, all India, that you keep saying about experiences, talking about travel, tourism, because I tell you, it's in my blood. I'm just passionate about it. I'm standing here just because of passion, that I need to give back to the industry what I'm learning from my life. And I say that very humbly, that people need to change. People need to change tourism. The people need to look at what the future is for. The future is not going to be the brick and mortar. The future is going to change. I hear a lot of people coming up to me and saying, oh, we can't do business. And I say, why? And they say, oh, there's a lot of competition. Have we made a space for ourselves? Have we made our lives change? Are we willing to adopt? I don't know. So that's a question I would like to leave you with. Experiential tourism is a form of tourism that goes beyond the ordinary and offers travelers unique and memorable experiences that enrich their lives. It's not just about visiting a destination, but about immersing oneself in its culture, nature, history, and people. It's also about creating stories, not just collecting souvenirs. But how can experiential tourism be luxury? Luxury is just not about the price tag or the material possessions. Luxury is about the quality, the exclusivity, the personalization, and the emotion of an experience. Luxury is about feeling special, pampered, and fulfilled. To create a wow factor in experiential tourism, you need to combine these elements of luxury with the elements of experiential tourism. You need to offer your guests something that they cannot find anywhere else, something that is tailored to their preferences and expectations, something that touches their hearts and minds and has a recall value. Some of the ways I would just like to share are how we can create that wow factor in the experiential tourism. We need to co-create. We need to co-create the experiences with your guests. Involve them in the design and delivery of the tourism products or services. Ask them what they want to see, do, learn, and feel. Give them the options and choices. Let them customize their own itinerary. The second I would say is offer personalized and customized experiences. Cater to the specific needs and wants of your guests. Know their names, preferences, allergies, interests, hobbies, etc. Anticipate their needs and exceed their expectations. Surprise them with something extra or unexpected. Third, I would say, is provide immersive and sensory experiences. Stimulate the emotions and senses of your guests. Use storytelling narratives to communicate the values and stories of the destination and its people. Use music, art, food, aromas, colors, textures, etc. to create a multi-sensory environment. And the last, of course, which is the most important, not the last, the second last, is technology. We need to use technology to enhance the experiences. Use digital tools and platforms to connect with your guests before and during the trip. Use social media apps, websites, blogs, podcasts, videos, etc. to share information, feedback, reviews, stories, etc. Use virtual reality, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, etc. to create interactive and immersive experiences. You know, when I talk about technology, I hear this very often once again from all my colleagues sitting here and beyond. We are going to be, absolutely gone from this world as travel agents. Well, I don't agree to it. When I talk about technology, I also need to delve into artificial intelligence. According to a Google travel study, 74% of travelers plan their trips on the internet. More than 36% of users are willing to pay more if there's an easy and interactive booking process. Almost 80% of customers prefer self-service to find the information they seek. And according to a survey, 11% of millennials prefer the assistance of AI compared to 4% of people, especially the age 35 and older. So while human customer service is still the overriding preference for some, AI has a definite place in the future of the travel industry, and let's not ignore it starting today. The role of AI within the travel industry, the capacity of artificial intelligence to perform tasks that have traditionally required human cognitive function has made it especially useful for those in the travel industry, I would say, because deploying AI can save business time and money while potentially eliminating human error and allowing tasks to be performed quickly at any time of the day. Most hotels and resorts rely heavily on delivering excellent customer service to build their reputation. And AI technology can assist that with all that. Artificial intelligence has advanced to the point where it is regularly used to assist and communicate with customers, learning from each of these interactions and improving future interactions. Moreover, AI can assist with tasks like data analysis, calculations, and problem solving, which can be available to hotel owners. Enjoy it, use it, and make it beneficial for yourself, not get burdened with it. You can always explore these opportunities to deliver more. It's your mind that they pick up. It's not their mind that you are picking up. So you need to pick your minds more, put it into process, and see how you can use this. And lastly, I would say, when we are doing tourism, and I think it's time for us to all get together and focus on sustainability. Not because we are burdened with over-tourism, carbon emissions, and much more. We need to adopt sustainability with green investments. This is also a form of tourism that aims to provide meaningful and memorable experiences to the tourists, while also respecting and preserving the natural and cultural environment of the destination. It is based on the principles of sustainability, which includes environment, social, and economic aspects. These are some of the ways to create a wow factor in experiential tourism as a luxury. By doing so, you can create value for both yourselves and your guests and your destinations. You can increase customer satisfaction, loyalty, word of mouth, and profitability. You can also differentiate yourself from your competitors and build a strong brand reputation. And before I end, once again, it is my vision, my dedication, my commitment to this industry to be better, to do better, and to be able to serve and to give it back to the society. And because of this industry, I'm here standing in front of you, humbly sharing my thoughts. But that's not all. I learn each day. I play, I imbibe each day. And this is why I started TIES, the Iconic Experiences Show. Because I think we need to change. We need to change now. I have had those challenges even while I've been putting up the exhibition. I've not been able to convince everyone. But I think we have to start small, but we have to start. And that's the reason I'm here, requesting all of you to be present tomorrow also in big numbers so that you can see what we are trying to do. I'm not saying I've achieved it all, but it's there. It's a small start, and I need to go forward with it. Like I said, I am for the industry. So I'll just end. They say travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness. It's not I who said this. It was said by the famous Mark Twain and said it a long time back. So let's be the change and move forward. Thank you so much for all of you to listening to me patiently. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mayal, for pivoting luxury into the mainstream. Ladies and gentlemen, our first panel is an insightful discussion on a topic that is becoming increasingly essential in our fast-paced world: wellness. In today's age, where our lives are often a whirlwind of activity, wellness has emerged as a beacon of balance and rejuvenation. It's a concept that transcends traditional health and encompasses the holistic well-being of mind, body, and spirit. Today, we have gathered a distinguished panel of experts who will wow us on wellness, from the latest trends in fitness and nutrition to the psychological and emotional aspects that play a pivotal role in overall health. We will delve into the practices, products, and philosophies that have wowed the world with their transformative potential, inviting us to lead a healthier and more harmonious life. I would like to call on stage our moderator, Sudha Sadanand from TV9 Network, to moderate the session. Welcome, Sudhaji.
Good morning, everyone, and I welcome you to this lovely, lovely evening. And the best part was to start it with Sri Ganesha Deva. I think we all need that, considering the world is in such a shape now. We need someone to really remove all the obstacles. And on that note, let me also say that what really wowed me was wowed by wellness. I think that wow factor is something which has now become synonymous with lots of us. And I think it's going to be a very scintillating discussion, because I'll say for my, so far as I'm concerned, I don't know about others, there's too much focus on how we look. There is very little focus on who we are. I hope all the distinguished guests will agree with me. It's my sheer pleasure to invite on stage Acharya Pratishtha Yoga and Spiritual Guru, former diplomat, HCI Mauritius Ministry of External Affairs, and Director, Mokshayatan Yog Sansthan. Then I have Sadhvi Pragya Bharati, spiritual leader and co-founder, Sambhav International Foundation. And also Vijayendra Nanda Das, who's the National Director, ISKCON India. A very warm welcome, sir, wherever you are. We welcome you. Aye. Okay, let's begin without much ado. Also, I would like to announce that Rajendra ji will speak in Hindi, Sri Das will speak in Hindi, and I'm sure all of us are comfortable being bilingual here. So let's start with you, Acharya Pratishtha. Most of us understand wellness as that which concerns our physical bodies, maintain the right weight and, cardiovascular, what you're doing, are you doing enough cardio? I hope you're not eating stuff like maida, and are you eating gluten, and are you dairy free? So a lot of stress is on the way we look, but would you agree that mental wellness also needs equal, if not more, importance?
Sudhaji, I believe if we look at the definition given by WHO, it clearly defines wellness means when we are healthy at the level of body, mind, and not just physical and mental, but also social and spiritual health. So when we talk, even in Hindi, we always say it is about swasthya, not about tandurusti. When we say tandurusti, it is only confined to your physical health. But if we look at it as a large picture, physical health, mental health, social health, and spiritual health, all four are interrelated. Man changa to katoti mein ganga. That's the reason even the basic sutra of yoga says, what is the basic definition of yoga? Yogash chitta vritti nirodha. Maharshi Patanjali would have said, yogash sharir vritti nirodha. Right. No, chitta. So controlling the modifications of mind, and as you said, going this free and that free. So I always say hungry means angry. So we don't have to become that. Now this is, ye vidambana hai that we have completely cut off sugar from our diet. We have shad ras. And we must take these shad ras, 6 different tastes. Otherwise, even if we leave one element completely from our diet, from our lifestyle, that will lead to some adverse effects, definitely.
Sadhvi Pragya, I want to ask you that all that Pratishtha ji said, it makes a lot of sense. We have been brought up in a culture which recognizes spiritual well-being of a human being as of utmost atmosphere. But there is a conundrum, there is a dichotomy. When you are a worldly person and not really donning ochre or orange robes, when you get married, you have children, you have to then work and you have to balance work and what happens in your home. Somehow, for the ordinary person, at least for many of us, whatever Pratishtha ji said, it seems very complicated. That if I get into this, मुझे बहुत समझ नहीं आएगा ये सब क्या है. Because I can understand computers, I can understand arithmetic, I can understand philosophy, but maybe I can't understand all this. Do you think that there is explode the myth for the audience? You know, tell us how easy, and it's almost like babies can also understand it.
First of all, good morning and my humble namaskar to all of you. Thank you, TV9 Network and TIES, for having me here today. It's a pleasure. It's truly inspiring to see intellectually young crowd present here, ready to embark on a journey of holistic wellness. As we're talking about holistic wellness today, and the question very well put up by you, when we talk about, let me make it more simpler, because you found it complicated, right? For the people out there, though it's not complicated, but yeah. When we talk about physical wellness, or let me break down what holistic wellness entails. Physical wellness, mental wellness, emotional wellness, intellectual wellness, environmental wellness, social wellness, and spiritual wellness. So if I talk about physical wellness, as we all know, that regular exercise, balanced diet, and adequate sleep are the cornerstones of physical wellness. And we are very well aware of it. I don't need to, elaborate on it. So now talking about mental wellness, which is very important factor. Our minds are incredible tools, Sudhaji, but they need utmost attention and care as well in today's world, especially in this age of digital connectivity and information overload. Mental wellness has never been more critical. It is very important to be mentally well all the time. I know there are a lot of forces, fears in our life, being emotionally fit also. Sometimes, recognizing, understanding emotions are very important. It is very important to recognize and understand our emotions and to discuss, with the people whom we want to share. Because see, there's a lot of pressure today in the society, lot of stress. We're not able to manage the emotions. I'm talking about the normal, for the common man, I'm talking from the perspective of a common man. हो नहीं पाता है, डील नहीं कर पाते हैं, इतने सारे इमोशंस अंदर होते हैं, सामने शेयर करने में डर लगता है of being judged. Am I right? I hope you agree with me. But I would say sometimes it is okay not to be okay. Sometimes it is okay when you need support. Sometimes it is a sign of strength when you express your emotions.
Right. Okay.
And when I talk about spiritual wellness, so spiritual wellness is again important. So there has to be a balance, harmonious balance, I would say, between physical, mental, intellectual and spiritual well-being.
Very well put.
Thank you.
Shri Das, मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूँगी कि wellness की जहाँ तक बात होती है, तो ये जो मैंने इनसे पूछा, साध्वी प्रज्ञा से मैं आपसे फिर से पूछती हूँ, न करने के बड़े सारे कारण होते हैं इसमें. मैं वो नहीं कर सकता या कर सकती, मैं उस परिवेश से नहीं आती हूँ, तो वेलनेस की जहाँ तक बात है, ये बहुत आप मानेंगे इसको कि इंडिविजुअलिस्टिक होता है। आप कहाँ से आए हैं, आपका कल्चर क्या है, मातृभाषा क्या है, खान पान क्या है, आपके घर में किसकी वंदना होती है, अगर नहीं होती है फिर भी ठीक है, हमारा देश तो महान है, करिए ठीक, ना करिए फिर भी ठीक। तो ये इंडिविजुअल होता है। तो फिर आपको लगता है कि इसीलिए बहुत से लोग उसको कर नहीं पाते, क्योंकि ये भाषाएं अलग अलग हैं, जो मार्ग है वो अलग अलग है। श्रीदास।
हरे कृष्णा। जो आप पूछ रहे हैं, इस सारे प्रश्नों का उत्तर भगवत गीता में है। समस्या है कि हम भगवत गीता नहीं पढ़ते। अब पूरे दुनिया में 3 ग्रंथ मशहूर हैं, गीता, कुरान और बाइबल। मैं कौन हूँ, कहाँ से आया हूँ, हमारे जीवन का लक्ष्य है, हमको पहले ये समझना चाहिए। मैं आपसे बात कर सकता हूँ थोड़ा सा। एक उदाहरण अभी हम आपको समझाते हैं। गीता का जो दूसरा अध्याय है, हम प्रैक्टिकल समझाना चाहते हैं। जैसे इस समय हम बोल रहे हैं, आप सुन रहे हैं, मैं आपको देख रहा हूं और आप हमें देख रहे हैं। गीता का जो दूसरा अध्याय है, मैं आपको प्रैक्टिकल समझाना चाहता हूं। समझे, ध्यान से सुनिए, क्योंकि आप लोग पढ़े लिखे लोग हैं। हमारे प्रभुपाद जी बोलते, जो इस कान के फाउंडर आचार्य हैं, कि जो व्यक्ति बुद्धिमान होता है उसको समझाना आसान होता है, क्योंकि बुद्धिमान होता है। हम थोड़ा समझाएंगे, आप तुरंत समझ जाएंगे। तो इस समय ध्यान सुनिए कि बहुत आवश्यक है। इस समय आप हमें देख रहे हैं और हम आपको देख रहे हैं। हम बोल रहे हैं, आप सुन रहे हैं, आप बोलेंगे तो हम सुनेंगे। गीता एक कहती है, ये समझना है, आंखें नहीं देखती हैं, हम देखते हैं। समझिए, जीवा नहीं बोलती है, हम बोलते हैं। माध्यम कौन है? जीवा। तो ये जो हमारी आंखें हैं, हमारी जीवा है, हमारा कान है, ये सब माध्यम है। किसके? मेरे। समझ में क्या समझा? यही गीता भगवान कहते हैं कि तुम आत्मा हो, यू आर द सोल। तो आंखें नहीं देखती हैं, आंखों के माध्यम से हम देखते हैं। ये तब समझाएगी भगवान कृष्ण के बात, जब हम शरीर, आत्मा शरीर छोड़ दे, हम शरीर छोड़ देते हैं तो ये मुर्दा शरीर पड़ी रहती है। फिर आंखें क्यों नहीं देखती? इसलिए नहीं देखती क्योंकि देखने वाला तो है ही नहीं।
और ये आंखों की बात आपने की,
तो बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट
आंखों की बात आपने की, तो इसी सिलसिले में मैं आचार्य प्रतिष्ठा से पूछना चाह रही हूँ। You know what he spoke about, that आत्मन। जी
जरा समझाने दीजिए कि ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है कि जब तक हम अपने आप को नहीं समझेंगे, समस्याओं को कैसे समझेंगे? जैसे डॉक्टर हैं, जब तक वो मर्ज को नहीं समझेगा वो इलाज क्या करेगा? पहले तो हम अपने को समझें, अपने को समझे कि हम आत्मा हैं, ये शरीर नहीं। शरीर हमारी माध्यम है। जितनी सुंदरता है, ज्ञान है, आत्मा का है, शरीर का नहीं है। जब ये शरीर छोड़ देती है आत्मा, तो सुंदरता, ज्ञान सब जीरो हो जाता है।
अब मैं
ये बहुत
जी, अब मैं अभी आगे भी आपके पास आऊंगी। श्रीदास, आचार्य प्रतिष्ठा, he spoke about Atman, we speak about Brahman, we speak about, Advaita, all kinds of philosophies that one has read. But look at it, to understand Jiva, to understand all this, people are actually have moved away only because it all sounds very complicated. It sounds like one jalebi is being made. I want to ask you, therefore, people have moved to power yoga, Pilates, Zumba. They say, listen, I know what I'm doing, I can see the results immediately. Is choosing all that good for physical wellness as well as maybe, because they also teach you how to meditate, right? So, are you in favor of what the young are now adopting or adapting to? Acharya Pratishtha.
See, when we say something is complicated or something is not complicated, let's simplify it. We all, whether we belong to any country, whether we belong to any religion, whether we belong to any caste or any gender, we have one common goal, and that goal is Dukkhatre Nivritti Swarupanandavaptischa. We all want to be happy. Yes or no? Everyone, we want to be happy. So when at different levels you seek happiness as per your mental level, as per your physical level. Let's say, एक बहुत प्रसिद्ध गाना है, मुझे प्यार करो, मैं नशे में हूँ, ठुकराओ कि मुझे प्यार करो, मैं नशे में हूँ. तो उस नशे में उसने एक क्षणिक आनंद खोज लिया. तो वो क्या सोच रहा है, उस वक्त मुझे कुछ अनुभूति नहीं है, उसमें तुमने मुझे ठुकरा दिया, तुमने मुझे अपना लिया, मैं नशे में हूँ. फिर when we practice yoga, that's Anand Madira. You stay in that Anand, that blissful state at all the time. Power yoga, gym yoga, different kinds of yoga. Firstly, I would say belonging to a lineage, family of yogis. I have seen journey of yoga becoming yoga, then becoming yoga and pranayam, then becoming yoga and meditation, leaving behind an impression that yoga is something which is related only to your physical body. Still, I would say anybody who is starting even with power yoga, at least he is starting. At least they are beginning. So you have to take the first step. Then only you will be able to choose the destination. As Dr. Saab said beautifully in the beginning about tourism, I would say it was spiritual tourism that was initiated by Padma Shri Swami Bharat Bhushan ji back in 90s. Nobody thought that we can have spiritual tourism. We can invite people to India to learn yoga, because yoga is our culture, classical dance, music is our culture. And when this is all about tourism, I would say we also need to think about spiritual tourism, yoga tourism, culture tourism, and that way we can have more people coming to India and learning all these sciences and arts.
Yeah. Sadhvi Pragya, I want to ask you that, you know, all of us know this, that we have all heard, पहले तो ऐसे नहीं होता था, आजकल पता नहीं क्या-क्या बीमारियां लोगों को होनी शुरू हो गई हैं. This is what we constantly hear. I'm very happy because I have cases in my family that mental health is now being recognized. It's not being laughed at. It's not treated as something which is an imagination of people. So for that, I think a round of applause. I think we really need to, you know, recognize that mental health issues happen. Sadhvi Pragya, when does a person figure, now I need help? Physically, you may be fit, you may be whatever, no, all your blood work is fine, but that time when there is a sign that I need to do something to perhaps clear the clutter here.
Sudhaji, when a pot is filled with milk, it is called milk pot. When a pot is filled with honey, it is called honey pot, and so on. Just as the pot is known by the content, so do we humans. We humans are also known by the content we carry in our heads, in our minds. And it is very important what content we carry, what traits we carry as an individual, as a person. We're talking about mental health. You know, a few years back, it was still a taboo. I worked on mental health with the school students, with college students, with corporate people. It was still a taboo still. I mean, there are families who accepted it, you know. Like you said, not in your family. It's a good thing. We are progressive, we are part of a progressive society. लेकिन आज भी ऐसा होता है, आज भी ऐसी problems आ रही हैं. People, when they face anger issues, when they face, you know, anxiety issues, when they go through the depressive state of mind, they have a fear of being judged, as I said. और वो एक डर लगता है अंदर, मुझे लगता है, I'm sure my audience would agree to it. You know, you have that subtle fear within what the other person would think about you when you'll share the same with the person. लेकिन हाँ, ये बहुत important है जो भी आपने कहा. I agree with you and I would like to reiterate it. हमें mental health के बारे में बात करनी चाहिए. And not only mental health, we must adapt and practice mindfulness practices and meditation or spiritual health also, because I believe spirituality contributes a lot. Spirituality gives you the true purpose of life. एक गीता में एक श्लोक आता है, भागवत गीता में, it beautifully says, ध्यायतो विषयान पुंसा संगिस्तेषु उपजायते संगास सज्जायते कामाः कामात् क्रोधा बीजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहा सम्मोहात् स्मृति भ्रंशात् स्मृति विभ्रमः बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. Let me make it simpler for you. So as they say, we all have anger issues, we all have ego issues, so it is very easy to deal with all of it. Refute in spirituality, become an enlightened soul, and then you see the change in your life.
Right. And we've completely run out of time. And Shridas, बिल्कुल समय समाप्त हो गया, नहीं तो मैं आपसे एक और प्रश्न करती. आप सबका बहुत thank you very much, all of you, for joining us. And I hope that at least from our lives, we spend some time to kind of focus on mental health. Thank you very much, and also physical health. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, dear panelists, for such an enriching session. Please be seated. We'd like to felicitate you. Please have on stage Ms. Jyoti Mayal and Mr. Raktim Das, Chief Growth Officer, TV9 Network, if he's there. All right, I think Raktim's not there. Gifting these beautiful plants that are sustainable and biodegradable, they purify the environment, and it's a sign of growth and prosperity. Thank you once again, the panelists. Can you please have a good round of applause for them? Our next session, ladies and gentlemen, will take you on an exhilarating journey through the boundless possibilities of aviation. In a world where the sky is truly the limit, our panel of industry visionaries will explore the latest breakthroughs, innovations, and challenges that are shaping the future of air travel. From cutting-edge technology to sustainable initiatives, this discussion promises to inspire and inform. So fasten your seatbelts and prepare for takeoff as we soar into the limitless skies of aviation's potential. I would like to invite our moderator, Krishna Kumar from News9 Plus, who will call on the panelists. Can we please have Gunjan at the backstage? Gunjan, request you to please be at the backstage. Please be seated. We'll just be starting shortly.
if you look at 15-20% growth in annual traffic every year, and if there is a shrinkage in capacity, let alone capacity not being added at 15-20% growth in capacity means that you need to bring in 80 new airplanes into net addition into the country, just to cater with the current load factors of domestic market, which is clearly not happening. There are no 80 to 100 airplanes net addition coming into the country. So therefore, even in the domestic market, for a very, very long period of time, there will be huge amount of demand. Okay, and for any business, whether it is the airline business or whether you're selling ice cream or coffee, if there is a situation where there is massive demand and very little supply, that's always a good spot to be in, right?
It's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have. Having said that, even on international, I think, of course, India now has an opportunity to be a significant player in this sort of flow of traffic. Now, whether 2,000 years later we will be able to capitalize on the Silk Route again, and whether we'll be able to connect the Southeast Asian, parts of the world to the Northern Hemisphere and the Western Hemisphere or not, a lot depends on not just aircraft capacity and intent, but also a lot depends on real infrastructure in terms of airports, in terms of more efficient air traffic movements, in terms of catering units, in terms of baggage sorting systems, and so on and so forth. You look at some of these international hubs like you mentioned, they go through these peaks during the day when hundreds of flights are coming in and hundreds of flights are going out. And that's not just traffic. It's cargo, it's bags, it's catering, it's transit, and so on and so forth. Now that takes a lot of investment, a lot of careful thinking, a lot of technology to be able to do that. So to answer your question, I feel both domestic and international have potential. We definitely see domestic and the near range international, which is about 1.8 billion people, a huge untapped market.
Fair enough. Mr. Kaul, that's the reason why I want to take your mind away a little bit from the near term and the medium term. We just want to talk about the overall opportunity because it's called sky is the limit. So let's see where the limit is for India, the potential for a global hub. At the same time, Indian aviation companies, new companies entering the market, in the recent past, tells you a lot about the kind of mood and the sentiment. Yes, things have gone awry before, but there's clearly potential to turn things around right now.
Well, partly true, because we have now, after a long time, a very stable airline system. I think if you look at the Indian airline problems, that most of them were undercapitalized, and they've been undercapitalized from the time they started. Today, after Air India's acquisition, Tata's acquisition by Air India, with Indigo having the balance sheet, Tata's behind it, and Akaksa is well capitalized, after a long time, you have a very stable airline system. And that's my assessment, the fundamental change. The acquisition of Tata's by Air India will reflect in 3 to 5 years. My own view, even if it is much slower than what most of us expect, it's going to be a game changer. But speaking about hubs, frankly, hubs don't happen by default. Air India cannot build a hub even if it decides. Delhi Airport cannot build a hub if it's designed. The whole ecosystem is to support it. I don't think, even if Air India has the desire to make a hub, Delhi Airport has the desire to make a hub, but the whole ecosystem isn't there, which is conditioned to build a hub. We may talk about it, but the second part is that we are thinking that when we decide to build a hub, that Emirates, Dubai is going to sit easy, or they're going to just let this market go away, or Qatar or Singapore or Turkey. There is a big aeropolitical war going to happen in maybe about a year or two, because we have bilateral constraints for 10 years. So if India is asking them 10 things, some point of time next year, they're going to knock and say, I need more bilaterals. But yes, the potential after Air India's acquisition, the possibility that Delhi, Bombay, and one airport in South India could become a gateway first and a hub later are realistic. And even Indigo, for example, they're already seeing traffic from Jakarta moving to Saudi via Bombay. So there's a lot of opportunities already happening. But to really give it what Emirates is or Singapore Air is or Turkey is, we are a long way off. We need to do it by design. We're not there.
What will we need, Aditya?
Sorry, say that again?
Mr. Ghosh, what will we need? All those things that we will need to become that aviation hub. What is lacking? What can be done in the near future? And what can be built for the long-term future?
Oh wow, that's an all-encompassing Encyclopedia Britannica type of question. But let me start off by saying that first we need, financially stable, strong airlines within India. Let's start off with that, because you can only begin to run if you're being able to walk confidently. And I think I agree with Kapil that after a long period of time, there seems to be the airline business, the transportation system in India is shaping up where there are the ingredients of strong airlines, which basically means it's well capitalized, it is strong management teams with depth of experience, there is brand new airplanes, there is new aircraft, new technology, and there is unlimited demand, right? So when that happens, you have the ingredients of making a success out of it. You talked about challenges to the airline business. One strange thing is, when you look at the last 20, 30, 40 years, airlines which fail, they all make the same mistakes. Airlines which succeed also have similar patterns. So it's not very difficult to see, predict into the future what's going to work and what's not going to work, right? Now, the second is that what is also required is very patient, growth. There has to be you have to just, as management teams, as leadership teams, you have to kind of attempt at it very, very carefully. When you look at, these giant network carriers who have done so well over the years, and there is no shame in copying the world's best. When you look at Singapore Airlines, when you look at Turkish.
Never wrong to copy a bad idea. Adidas did it with Nike.
Yeah, no, so that's why, I'd rather follow Jack Welch, who said, there's no shame in copying shamelessly copy the world's best. So therefore, when you look at whether it's Emirates, whether it's Singapore Airlines, whether it is, Turkish, whether it's any one of these carriers, they are United or Delta, they're incredibly profitable, well-run operations today. They are not an overnight story. Every overnight story in the airline business is a 20-year-old story. So one has to have the tenacity and the patience to keep going at it. So that's the other thing that is required. If you let ego come in the way of wisdom and say, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I want to grow this fast, and I want to grab this market share, you're bound to falter. And then finally, what's needed is, ours is a pretty boring business. You have to be boringly consistent about what you're doing. You try to fly the plane upside down or try to do something that nobody has done before, you're headed for a fatality. So therefore, just keep at it, stick to the book. I always used to say, right, be Roger Federer or Rahul Dravid. You don't have to be.
Let me add one more sports person to it the moment you said, Mr. Glenn McGrath.
Yeah,
when they asked him, what is the secret of your bowling? Like, I'm boring. I just keep bowling the same ball again and again. The batsmen get frustrated.
I think there is a lot to be said about boringly consistent.
So, fair point, fair point. At this stage, Mr. Kaul, I just want to ask you one thing. All businesses, the biggest and the most, forget about funds for the time being. Apart from funds, the other big capital that they need is human capital, talent, to do all kinds of jobs in the aviation industry. How far along do you think India is when it comes to that bench of talent that's available for Indian aviation companies?
Well, we have always believed that India forgets when the HR is forgotten when there is growth. We are today having serious shortage of pilots. Aircrafts are being inducted, except one airline which has a pipeline. Rest of them would struggle. Obviously, there are certain structural challenges right now, particularly post-COVID. But talent, my own assessment, is fundamental to creating Indigo 2.0 to sustain. It's reached a tremendous stage, but for it to grow from now is all about people. For Air India to leave the capital part of it, they have the ability to fund so much. But if they don't focus on people, which they are, and very strategically, that's the core to my business model, I don't think we'll achieve what we need to achieve. And I think it's my view that HR is forgotten in India's growth equation. Succession planning is forgotten in growth equation. Do we have a number 2 to the CXO already there? No. Do we train our CXOs? No. Do we train our boards? No. Do we have a management sort of lots of a strategic plan for middle and junior management? No. We may just do a training and call Harvard Business School for a 2 weeks, 3 weeks course, but it's non-strategic. And everything else is changing. And let me tell you one thing very critically, and my colleagues keep talking about it, and this is a the regular exercise with you. The AI which Jyoti was mentioning is fundamentally going to change the network plan, revenue management. You may have more robots managing network planning, revenue management. The jobs will change, profile of jobs will change. So if we are training and building educational capabilities, it has to talk about the future of an employer, future of network planner, future of RM, future of X, future of Y.
Absolutely.
We are not talking about the traditional training, leave alone the future.
Absolutely.
But just to close one thing.
Right.
Companies which have invested in people, and Aditya is a creation of that. I would see in Air India and in Indigo, they were part of one of the most successful teams. It's just investing in people. You look at what Tatas would do. If they just pick up right talent and invest in them, they may burn less capital. So
right.
People is critical.
Right. I'm on that wonderful note on people is what is, sky is the limit for Indian aviation is going to be all about. We've completed run out of time. I think Mr. Ghosh, you want to have a quick word if we can, and then we can wrap this up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we are, as an industry, completely people dependent. For the last 20 years of my life, I think 60% of my time has always been spent around people, whether it was my previous airline or this airline. In my previous airline also, my CEO office was not on any other floor, was in the HR floor. At Akasa, we've put in an investment in a 50,000 square feet learning academy in our first year of operation.
Just before you say that, you were more in the learning center.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
met you 3-4 times. You were
in the learning center. And I still, in Gurgaon, in India, in Akasa, I spend my time in the learning center. Because that's where, the next generation of leaders will come across. And ours is a unique business. When people come into a hotel and we are experiencing what we are experiencing, there are cameras. On an Akasa airplane, when you go in and experience, there are no cameras on board. No one is watching. So how do you create an experience with that level of consistency and passion? And the same goes with my previous organization as well. When no one is watching, and that comes from culture, that comes from knowing that I have something to do with it. When I walked into this hall just now, I had colleagues who I've worked with for 20 years, and we all hugged each other even though we are in competing airlines today, and that's what I think makes it most joyful.
Fascinating. Big round of applause for that. That's setting the example for what Indian aviation needs to be. We've completely run out of time. This has been fascinating. Thank you, Mr. Aditya Ghosh, and thank you, Mr. Kapil Kaul, for being with us. Please stay with us on this podium. Please stay with us for a second. Basically for the usual felicitation of the panelists on stage.
Can we please have on stage Mr. Raktan Das, Chief Growth Officer, TV9 Network, and Mr. Balbir Mayal, MD, Red Hat Communications, to felicitate our panelists. Thank you, panelists. Can we have a round of applause, please? We now have a power presentation in TED Talk style by our destination partner, Saudi Arabia, Saudi Tourism Authority. Can we please have on stage Ms. Vartika Chaturvedi? She's the Leisure and Key Accounts Head, And before that, can we please have the AV also?
Hi everyone. Thanks a lot for this opportunity. I thank TIES and Ms. Jyoti Mayal. This is the second time in a row that we've got this excellent opportunity to talk about Saudi, the most upcoming destination, the most talked about destination currently for the last 2 and 3 years. Before I start the presentation, I wanted to ask you, how is your morning going? How have the sessions been for you? Good? Good, very good, excellent. So yeah, so we start from wellness, we go with an airline, and then we come to a destination that has both these things. It has wellness, it has culture, it has culinary, it has heritage, and it has what anyone is looking for. You have children, we have that entertainment available. If you are looking at only very senior people traveling and they have a different kind of an outlook, we have that also available. So welcome to Saudi. Let's go through this virtual destination with me, Vartika Chaturvedi. I'll start with the video first so that you can start and get a glimpse of the destination, and then we go ahead. All of you liked the video. It was a lovely video. Parts of Saudi, parts of our country which no one imagined Saudi has. You know, the temperature in Riyadh in the month of December, it'll go up to 10 degrees. No one can imagine that. It snows in Saudi, in the south of Saudi. No one can imagine that. We are the second largest exporter of roses from a very small city called Taif. No one knows that. But this is an opportunity for all of you to know and become part of Saudi, because we are working towards our prince's vision, our king's vision, Mohammed bin Salman's vision of Vision 2030, which is getting 100 million visitors by the year 2030. So whatever progress you see in the country, that happens because of one person's vision, and all of us are following that vision, and we need you, all of you sitting here, to fulfill that vision. And amongst that vision, India is the top primary source market for Saudi. We are just 4.5 hours away. Just a 4.5 or 5 hour destination. We have flights from every single city in India, except parts of East and parts of West, but we have flights from everywhere. We are just 4.5 hours away. We are a short-haul destination, and we are here for you. Our beliefs are, yes, we are an Islamic nation. We have two of the most holiest cities of Makkah and Medina. But apart from that, we also have the Riyadh and the Jeddahs, which is the metropolitan, with the construction, the largest building, the largest roller coaster. We are getting there. And in the next few years, the only destination that you will hear of is going to be Saudi. Welcome to Arabia, which is our homeland. This is the ever-changing face of Saudi, where we have women You would have probably heard a lot of people telling you that, do you have to cover your head while you go to Saudi? Do you have to wear an abaya if you go to Saudi? Not anymore. If you're an international traveler and you are traveling to Saudi, you can dress up exactly the way that you are dressed up today, including this lovely lady who's wearing the lovely crown in front of me. You can dress up exactly like this in Saudi. You don't have to cover your head. You don't have to wear abayas. For international travelers, it's there, but modest dressing is very, very important for our destination. If you go to the holy cities of Medina, yes, you have to cover yourself as a mark of respect, but the other parts of the country are pretty much cool now. So Saudi is cool, Saudi is hip, Saudi is happening, Saudi has culture, Saudi has everything that each of your clients will have available. So we'll go to the destination Saudi. So on the western side, we have Jeddah, we have Alula, which is our crown jewel. Everyone's heard of Alula. There's enough and more talk about Alula. Shah Rukh Khan just finished a shooting in Saudi with his movie Dunki, and with Jawan on this thing, I'm sure you will see a lot of parts of Saudi there. We just had another movie called Kandahar, which got shot in Alula. So you have a lot of movies, a lot of things that are happening in Saudi related to Bollywood, related to Hollywood. So you will hear a lot more things coming in the future as well. So the south of Saudi is where the temperatures are cool and temperate. They stay at about 20-25 degrees throughout the year. Very, very good. So you can go there in summers. So we don't call ourselves a destination which is only from September to March. We call ourselves a 365-day destination. 365 days of a year you can visit Saudi. You can go in the summers to the south of Saudi where the temperatures are 25 degrees, or you can go in the winters to Riyadh and Alula where the temperatures are again about 25 degrees. So any time of the year, Saudi is for you. Saudi is the 12th largest country in the world. Our currency is Saudi Riyal. It's 22 rupees to INR. It's not very, very expensive. So there you go, 22 rupees. We have two airlines from India. We have Flynas, which is our local carrier, also from India, and then we have Saudia, which is our international carrier. So both these airlines fly from India, and you can book and travel to Saudi. And other than that, you have the other airlines from the Middle East as well who fly into Saudi. Our tourist advisory line and our website is called visitsaudi.com. Please do visit it. It'll give you a lot more information about the destination, the developments, the giga projects that Saudi is coming up with. And that's our tourist advisory line on 9:30. Here I would like to point a very important thing about visas. Everyone keeps asking, all that is okay, but how do you travel? What is the process for visa? If you have a US, UK, or a Schengen visa, which is valid on your passport, and you have traveled on it once at least, you get an e-visa. You just have to log on to Visit Saudi, go to the visa section, give your US visa number or your UK visa number. In less than 24 hours, you will get your visa, which is usually a 1-year multiple entry with a valid stay of 90 days. No other country is offering you that, a 1-year multiple entry, so we want you to come back. We are giving you a 1-year visa, we want you to come back. And believe me, once you go there, you will surely, surely go back there. So that is one kind of visa which is very simple. The second is to Tashir/VFS offices. We have 11 active centers across the country. You can go ahead and apply for a regular tourist visa through regular documentation, and you can go ahead and apply for a tourist visa. The third is, if you are flying on Saudia to, say, London or to Zurich or to any of the other parts of the world, now we have a flight into Toronto as well. So if any of your clients are going to Canada, because I see a lot of big chunk of people that has come from Punjab and Chandigarh, so yeah, we have a flight to Toronto as well. So if you are flying on Saudia, you can take a 96-hour visa, and you get a hotel stay in Riyadh also. So please make note of this. 3 ways that you can travel to Saudi. One is your US, UK, Schengen. Second is your regular tourist visas through our VFS centers, Tashir centers. And the third is the stopover visa. Very simple, very easy. We are around if you have any questions. I have my colleagues also traveling with me. Anything there, and we will be more than happy to answer. The Golden Triangle, we have our own little Golden Triangle. It's Riyadh, Jeddah, and Alula. Riyadh being in the center of the country, Jeddah being on the western side of the country, and Alula being in the northwestern side of the country. That's our little Golden Triangle. Riyadh, with a population of over 7 million, is the capital. It is where our Saudi Tourism Authority's headquarters are also. So if you are visiting, do check out our headquarters as well. Beautiful, beautiful building and beautiful people. We have someone from our HQ, our trade accounts director, who's here, Mishal Qureshi. We have a country manager here from Mumbai. He's here. We have a marketing manager in India. So we are a very large team otherwise, but we have 4 people from Saudi. Any questions, we are here to answer all your questions. We have a MDL beast. So Riyadh is culture. Riyadh is food, but Riyadh is also entertainment. Starting November, we have the Riyadh seasons up until the next year, March. And what is Riyadh seasons? Riyadh seasons is basically Formula 1. You have your football games. You have culture. You have shopping. So throughout from November to March, it's a fanfare in Riyadh. It's in the Riyadh Boulevard City. You have these big, big pop-ups which basically come up. There's a themed around it, and you can just avail tickets and you can go. There's a big kids entertainment center as well. We have the Disney Princess coming for the first time in Arabia, starting from November. So if your kids are missing Disney, you are just 4.5 hours away in Riyadh. So please, please take them. November onwards, we have the Riyadh seasons. And then we have the largest music festival called the MDL Beast, also happening in the month of December, where you have the world's most popular international DJs playing in Saudi. So you have that. Qiddiya, this is opening about 45 minutes to an hour away from Riyadh. This is going to be football stadium. It's going to be an entertainment hub, but this is under construction and it will be ready possibly in the next 4 to 5 years along the line of the Vision 2030. This is a very, very important building and very, very close to us because this is the foundation of Saudi. This is called Diriyah. It is a beautiful setting. The best time to visit, I would personally recommend, is at about 5 or 6 in the evening because you can see the sunset and you can see this beautiful mud brick construction come to life. You have a lot of restaurants, a lot of cuisine. We have 4 Michelin star restaurants in the same arena, and you can really, really make an evening out of it. So out of those 3 to 4 days that you are spending with us in Riyadh, 1 day has to be dedicated to Diriyah, which is our foundation of Saudi. Edge of the World. Edge of the World is about 45 minutes to an hour away from Riyadh. Again, a very, very Instagrammable spot. You just go there in the morning at 5, get your packed breakfast, go in the morning, enjoy the beautiful sunrise. So see, I have given you sunrise points, I have given you sunset points. So 2 days of Riyadh already done. Now it's the 3rd day, you will have a lot more to do in Riyadh. Sorry. Coming to Alula, would you have ever associated a hot air balloon with Saudi? Anyone? Probably no. But we have a hot air balloon. It happens as part of the Alula Moments, Alula Festival, and this time around it is starting right up from October onwards up until May next year. You have a company that's basically doing hot air balloon. You can't even imagine. You land into a city, Alula, which is an international airport. You land there, you go out. It's naturally formed rocks all throughout. It's a place directly out from heaven. You cannot believe this place exists. Beautiful hotels ranging from your habitats to your banyan trees to your cloud sevens. You have beautiful hotels there. Easily 2 to 3 nights can be spent in Alula for your clients. You want to do wellness? We had a wellness panel before that. I was itching to tell you that we have so much of wellness in Saudi available. We have a yoga instructor. You can even do power yoga in Alula. So we have those many options available if you're looking at wellness. Again, we are just 4.5 hours away. You can even combine Alula with other countries like Egypt, Jordan, and Dubai, because it's an international airport. Farm to table experience, see the local farms, how do they grow dates. You can experience, you can actually go to Alula Oasis, experience the greenery amongst the entire desert arena. Now this is something none of you should miss. This, if you do mice, it can be a mice venue. If you are just a tourist, it can be the most Instagrammable picture, bet to get you the most amount of likes you would ever had. So imagine a picture right in front of this only mirrored conference venue in the world. It's called Maraya. It's bang in the middle of a desert. You will not even know. You're probably just driving through, and you will just see this big mirrored building on your left or your right-hand side, depending on where you're driving from. And that is a conference venue. It has a Michelin star restaurant inside with a capacity between 500 to 600 people. This is the conference venue all your CXOs, CEOs should be going to. So imagine here, and you can't even click an entire picture of this venue because it's just mirror. But it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So for all the young people and all the senior people of the trade, best Instagram reels are going to be made here. So please do not forget to visit Maraya, which is the conference venue. Again, beautiful setting. You want to do an anniversary, you want to do an anniversary dinner, you want to do a birthday party, we can do very, very quaint settings. DMCs are pretty capable of doing a very intimate setting with you, setting for you, and getting the food that you want either from the hotel, or you can look at just coffee and just the surroundings. Very, 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 very beautiful. Our third city in the Golden Triangle is Jeddah. So how do we do this? We do Riyadh, we take a flight, we go to Alula. From Alula, there are two ways to come towards Jeddah. You either do Alula Medina by road, and believe me, Medina being the holy city, you should visit. And now non-Muslims are allowed in Medina. Not in the mosque, but in the periphery and in the city, non-Muslims are allowed. So please go to Medina. It's a beautiful, beautiful city to be in. From Alula, you drive to Medina. It's about 4 hours by road. Or you do Alula Jeddah by flight. Choice is yours, but I would not want you to miss Medina. Definitely do Medina. So you do Alula Medina, Medina Jeddah. You can take a bullet train. You can take a fast-speed Haramain train, which takes about 2 to 3 hours to get to Jeddah. So beautiful, beautiful train stations, neat and clean. Buy your tickets, you have economy class, you have business class, have your dates, enjoy the Saudi coffee, and there you are in the most, one of the high-speed trains between Medina and Jeddah. Jeddah, this is Balad. Balad is also one of our UNESCO heritage sites. People used to stay here up until 50, 60 years ago. And now it's being reconstructed. You have souks. In the evening, the best time to visit is, again, at about 5 in the evening. It has quaint lanes. It has old houses, which are being now reconstructed. But it's just gorgeous to be here. It's pretty much in the city center. The advantage of the UNESCO heritage sites in Saudi is they're pretty much in the city center. You don't have to travel 2 to 3 hours away to go to any of these UNESCO heritage sites. Diving. I've given you so many options. I've given you sunrise, sunset, diving, food, intimate setting. I've given you the world's best conference facility. This is a Red Sea. You can take a yacht for about 45 minutes to an hour, go around the marina in Jeddah and enjoy, have your fruits, have your, just hire a yacht and just go around the marina. The waters are absolutely pristine blue. You can even do diving But of course, if you are a PADI, if you already have a license, then you just go ahead, contact the company, and you can do snorkeling as well. Absolutely virgin, pristine waters that you can dive in. As I told you, these are called the sunflower umbrellas. They are very, very beautiful in the mosque. They basically close when it's the night time, and they kind of open in the daytime to give shade to all the pilgrims who are there. It's a beautiful city. Apparently, the locals say the sunset is very different in Medina. The colors change. They become purple, the hues of purples and blues. So please do visit. It's a very, very important holy city for Islam, but it's a very important city. You can even shop in Medina. You can buy gold, you can buy dates. There's a big souk near the mosque. You can go around. And there is a very also in Saudi. Abha, you want to do trekking. You want to go to one of the most beautiful cafes with glass all around, perched on a high mountain. Abha is for you. Again, Abha has an airport. You can connect from Jeddah. You have a lot of time. You can even drive, though it's 6 hours, but you have enough and more time. Okay, so this is Rijal Alma. Rijal Alma is again in the south of Saudi. It's a very, very good structure. It's coming in the UNESCO Heritage Site, and it's also in the south of Saudi. Again, drivable distance from Abha, and you can easily visit this place. Habala. Habala means rope in Arabic. It means that these villages were right on top, so you can access them through cable cars. Kara Hill is on the eastern province, Dammam. Dammam everyone's heard of because I think most Indians know Dammam because they work in Dammam. Kara Hills is on the eastern province, beautiful hills. The Al-Hasa Oasis, the largest date palm oasis in the world, again a UNESCO heritage site. Again, 45 minutes away from Dammam, about 4 hours one-way drive from Riyadh. Farm-to-table experiences, luxury travel. I'll just take you through the beautiful hotels that we have in Riyadh. So if you're thinking of a wedding, you're thinking of a MICE, you're thinking of leisure, we have all these hotels. We have the Four Seasons, the Ritz-Carlton, the Fairmont, the Ritz-Carlton Jeddah, the Rosewood Jeddah, the Waldorf Astoria, the Banyan Tree Alula, Habitas Alula, and we have a new destination coming up called the Red Sea. Red Sea is basically opening in the second half of, in the first half of 2024. It's open. We'll have a new airport, and it'll be a brand new destination for all of you to visit. This is how the aerial shot will look like for the Red Sea. All these hotels are planning to open in 2023. Now it's postponed. It's going to be opening in 24, 23 end, and 24 beginning. We'll have all these. We'll have one of the hotel shots, the Raffles, the Ritz-Carlton Reserve. This is opening, I think, this year end. Jumeirah, the Red Sea, the Six Senses Sand Dunes is also opening. Just to take you quickly, I've already told you what all you can do in Riyadh, but just to quickly take you through the experiences, you can do museums, you can do souks, you can do sports. If you're looking at football, we have a very large 2 football clubs playing, and we have very important players playing there. So you can look at football tourism as an option as well. And Jeddah is Balad. You can look at art galleries. You can look at deep sea diving, etc. Alula, hot air ballooning, zip lining, wellness, yoga, power yoga. Choice is yours. Al-Baha and, Taif, I would not take too much of your time because I think we are running out of time. But I would like to tell you that the south of Saudi is more green. You can plan your treks. You can look at palaces. You can look at rose farms in Taif as well. And I will leave you with this very, very scintillating video of MDL Beast about 2 years ago. Once we have the fresh ones, I probably share it with all of you. But please see, that is the spirit of Saudi, and that's what we want from all of you when you are thinking and promoting Saudi. thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you, all of you. And we are here. If you have any questions, we are more than happy to answer. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Vartika. Does anybody want to ask any questions from Ms. Vartika on Saudi? All right then, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Vartika. Saudi is indeed the new upcoming destination for luxury travel. For more information, visit www.saudi.com. We would now like to felicitate our speaker. Can we please have on stage Ms. Jyoti Mayal and Mr. Chandar Mancharmani? And also Mr. Raktan Das, TV9 Network, to felicitate the speaker. Thank you. Yes. We will now move on to a keynote address by Mr. Samit Garg, Managing Director and Co-founder eFactors Experiences Limited and President EMA, and this would be followed by a panel discussion. So can we please have him on stage, Mr. Samit Garg?
Very good afternoon, everybody. And a big shout out and thank you to Jyoti ji, TIES for having us here. I know that we've all been sitting here for more than 2 hours now, so we'll try and not make this very boring. But taking a cue from what the event is named, the Iconic Experiences Show, I just quickly want to set a context. We represent the events and the entertainment management business of this country, and this is what we do for a living, virtually on a daily basis. So in the larger interest of what is to follow, also with my colleagues Vandana and Chetan subsequently, I would just want to set the context in terms of the landscape of our business. Can we have the presentation, please? So what is India today? We are the 7th largest country in the world. The average age of every Indian is below 30 years. We are the 2nd largest consumer population. We are the fastest growing Asian economy, and we are the 5th largest global economy today. As far as the business of experiences in the country is concerned, it's a very comprehensive mix which goes around this circle in these 5 domains: weddings and personal events, government events, corporate, MICE, and sports. What is the size of the MICE business in our country? The MICE business, last recorded 2 years ago, does about 38,000 crores of organized business every year in India. And it has been growing at about 21%. Corporate events in our country scale about 92,000 crores every year. And this has been growing at almost 19% year on year. Weddings, this actually has been a savior for practically all of us during the pandemic times. And the numbers that have come across in an organized and an unorganized manner from different parts of the fraternity have been in a wide range. And we, as the Association of the Events Industry, have been always pegging this at a number of more than 3.5 lakh crores. So the size of the wedding business today in our country is approximately 3,85,000 crores, and this has been recorded to be growing at almost 17% year on year. And the best thing that happened in corroboration of these numbers is that ICICI came out with a survey in December. And in that survey, ICICI mentioned that the total size of the business that the business of weddings has given to the country and the industry by large was 3.75 lakh crores, only in a matter of 2 months. But this obviously includes a lot of gifting, this includes a lot of jewelry, etc., etc. So, but gives us a lot of confidence in the larger perspective of the numbers that we're talking of. So the distribution of the business that comes to India from the wedding business obviously is events, hospitality, jewelry, clothing, gifting, and so on and so forth. Sports. A very, very interesting domain that a lot of us miss out on. And this is an aspect of the experiences economy and business which has been growing drastically in the last 10 odd years. The momentum obviously was started by IPL, but today I'm leaving outside of this count the television rights value for everything that happens with cricket. But the overall business of the sports business in our country is about 60,000 crores plus. And this comes from a lot of different kinds of events outside of cricket, whether it is government spending on the different leagues, whether it is a lot of other private leagues that have come up. And this has also very interestingly been growing at more than 20%. And ladies and gentlemen, this is something which is extremely, extremely noteworthy, and which has actually ended up changing the paradigm of how the experiences and the events business has been happening in our country. The government today is the single largest spender on events in India. And the average rollout of business that the government does is in excess of 50,000 crores. And this number has been growing at almost 32% in the last 4 years. And this actually is a true testament and an exhibition of the fact that we are actually developing, because till the time the government doesn't understand the importance of events, till the time the government doesn't understand how relevant it is to keep on spending money into activities like this, the experience economy of the country will never grow. And G20, which I don't know has ended up giving a total cumulative amount of how many thousand crores to the experience industry in the country, is a classic example. Culture, festivals, travel, inaugurals, prime ministerial events are the key domains where all of this money is actually spent. And this is a very, very interesting slide. Allied Market Research, for those of you who know, is one of the largest and the most respected research foundations globally. And 2 years ago, they did this global study, and they envisaged that the size globally of the events and the experiences business would be about $1,552 billion by 2028. You know, the first time I read these numbers, I tried taking out my iPhone calculator and convert this into Indian rupees. The iPhone failed. The next time I tried doing it on my iPad. The iPad failed. Finally, I had to take out my laptop. I opened an Excel sheet. I don't know how many column inches worth of the width that I had to create. And then I calculated this number in Indian rupees. Any guesses? This is 1 crore 25 lakh crores. So $1,552 billion equals 1 crore 25 lakh crores. And now go back to the first slide. India is the 7th largest country. We are the 5th largest global economy. We are the fastest growing Asian economy. We are the 2nd largest consumer population. मैं 5th or 7th position की बात ही नहीं करता हूँ. Even if we get 5% of this business in due course of time over the next 5 years, we are talking of multiplying the current size of the business by 3.8x. So that is the opportunity that the business has for all of us. All of us who are an extremely, extremely integral part of the experience economy of this country. Weddings, as Jyotiji told me, is going to be the focus area for today's panel discussion to follow. I'll share some important facts with you here. 50% of the average Indian population is below 25 years. इसका मतलब है कि आने वाले 5 से 7 सालों में सब घरों में बहुत सारी शादियां होंगी. And sorry for those of you who don't understand Hindi, in the next 5 to 7 years, there are going to be a lot of weddings happening in practically all Indian families because of the average age of every Indian. And the estimated cost of the money or cost of a wedding could be anywhere between 1 lakh to 50 crores, depending on the stature and ability of every family. And this has also statistically been recorded that on an average, an Indian spends about 1/5 of his life's earnings to celebrate the weddings of his children, their children rather. population of 1.4 billion. On an average, one wedding in every Indian family in 20 years. In the organized sector gives us a number of almost 35,000 organized weddings that happen in the country, which are done by my friends and people like me, spread across the country. So this indicates the size of business opportunity that is available. And all of you, my friends, whether they're hoteliers, whether they're people in the travel business, everybody is an integral part, because all of us enable this ecosystem to exist, grow, and function. This is something very, very important. 3,000 event managers have come together in the last 2 years to represent the events industry at large. So everything that we're talking of, everything that we are going to the government with is actually now backed on information that has been collected from almost 3,000 organized event companies. This is what EMA, as the apex body of the experiences business, did. We got Deloitte on board to create a draft for a wedding tourism policy, which we very proudly went and presented to the Honorable Tourism Minister of this country. This happened, and 2 weeks down the line, there was an announcement in Man Ki Baat made by the Honorable Prime Minister, where he recognized the importance of wedding tourism for the first time in the history of this country. Matlab, forget about any IS officer or any cabinet minister. Straight away, the Prime Minister of this country spoke about the importance of wedding tourism in this country. And that led to a massive movement where the Ministry of Tourism hired McCann to create a global campaign. And in that campaign, India calls out to the world and says, I do. So this is something which has gathered a lot of momentum and is a clear indication of the fact that if collectively we come together and talk about sensibilities and represent them to the government in the right manner, everything is possible. Because this was made possible for a business which everybody looked down upon. This was made possible for a business that everybody thought is the most illegitimate business that everybody can possibly be in. And the first draft of this campaign was released by the Ministry of Tourism at one of our annual conventions. And this is a small video that has now gone viral and is one of the many.
It's your special day. Your chance to craft an unforgettable day. Come, say I do in India, where a wedding is more than a ceremony. It's a time-honored tradition woven with ancient rituals, sacred customs, and limitless love. Where you'll find a treasure trove of backdrops, royal palaces, majestic Himalayas, serene backwaters, pristine beaches, or ancient temples, where every moment is a symphony of colors, where every guest is treated like a god. India says, I do, to fulfill all your dreams of a truly unforgettable celebration. Come, say I do in India.
Incredible India.
So, you know, nothing could have possibly been more joyous than having this being rolled out by the government itself. And now, my dear friends, for most of us who integrally are a part of this business, there is something that the government is very, very aggressively working on. And that something is called IMICE. I'm sure most of us who are sitting on different councils and bodies may already be aware of this, but India is hosting a large program in the month of January where the world is being invited to this country to explore possibilities of MICE business, of what MICE business can offer to the world. And I will finish in 2 minutes, Jyotiji, but experiences are the future of all things iconic. And this is genuinely a fact because mujhe nahi lagta that any of us today is simply selling a product. I don't think so that we are mere commission agents or we are enablers to a particular service. We are adding a lot of value. We are making sure that everything that is being given to the customer on the other side of the table has something that we intellectually add on. And that something, if we really want, is substantial enough to be able to stay in the memories of people has to become iconic. And thank you, Jyotiji, for setting up this forum, because what it does for us specifically is the fact that it gives us a collective opportunity to share points of views, to share thought processes. And before we get on to the panel discussion, I just wanted to leave everybody with one thought. We are very, very important. Everybody sitting in this room is very important, whether it is a butler who's taking a salver around from one place to the other, whether it is a technician standing behind the console, whether it is a cameraman, whether it is a hotelier sitting amongst you, or whether it is a travel agent or an events manager like us and my friends. Because it is we who collectively are responsible to make India a formidable experience economy in the times to come. And this is a small film with which I will end. And everything that you will see in this film has actually been created, has actually been enabled by people like us sitting in this room. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mr. Garg.
इतिहास का मैं आईना हूं, तहजीब का रंग सुनहरा हूं। गंगा जमुना मेरी आंखें, मैं नए भारत का चेहरा। मैं कल भी था, मैं आज भी हूं, मैं नवयुग का अंदाज भी हूं। सारी दुनिया का घर मुझ में, इस मिट्टी का आदर मुझ में, मैं देशभक्त भी गहरा हूं, मैं नए भारत का चेहरा, मैं नए भारत का चेहरा। मैं बेटी की मुस्कान में हूं, मैं नारी के सम्मान में हूं। मैं बेटी की मुस्कान में हूं, मैं नारी के सम्मान में हूं। विज्ञान में और किसान में हूं, हर वीर में और जवान में हूं। मैं सीमाओं का पहरा हूं, मैं नए भारत का चेहरा हूं, मैं नए भारत का चेहरा हूं, मैं नए भारत का चेहरा हूं। अब चांद पे पांव जमाना है, सूरज से आंख मिलाना है, एक नया सवेरा लाना है, संकल्प नया दोहराना है। न ठहरा था, न ठहरा हूं, न ठहरा था, न ठहरा हूं, मैं नए भारत का चेहरा हूं, मैं नए भारत का चेहरा हूं, मैं नए भारत का चेहरा हूं, मैं नए भारत का चेहरा।
Thank you, Mr. Garg, for a wonderful session keynote. We now move on to an engaging panel discussion, Unraveling the Knots in Weddings. In a world where wedding planning can be a complex tapestry of choices and decisions, our expert panel is here to guide you through the intricacies of creating your dream wedding. They will share insights, experiences, and innovative strategies to untangle the knots that often arise in this process. Discover how to navigate wedding planning with ease and grace as we explore the topic of the panel, Not So Naughty, and similar aspects of turning one's special day into a seamless and memorable celebration. Can I please have on stage Ms. Sudha Sadanand, News9, Anchor News9, to moderate the session and call on the panelists.
First up, a round of applause for all of you being such a lovely audience. Thank you very much. It's really riveting. The conversation becomes better when we have a good audience like you. You know, I love the name of the session, Not So Naughty, and the naughty is with K-N-O-T-T-Y. It's not the naughty. So it's not so complicated, the marriage. Like we say it in Hindi, aisa laddu, jo khaye wo bhi pachtaye, jo na khaye wo bhi pachtaye. So let me now, without much delay, welcome all our guests. First up, Chetan Vora, Managing Director, Aligned Communications and Wedding Line. Please, sir, good to have you. Vandana Mohan, founder, the Wedding Design Company. Vandana Mohan, oh my God, I have followed you all my life. I mean, although you must be younger than me. Vandana, most welcome, watched you on TV as well. Remember? Yeah, good old days of television. Also, Dr. Sanjana Jones, such a pleasure. Sanjana, social activist and fashion designer, someone of international repute, and Asmita Chakraborty, Miss Tourism 2021. There you are, Asmita. Asmita, you're a Bengali? Shubho Pujo, kemon acho? Good. Let's start the session. Ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Samit Garg, please do come. He's MD and co-founder E-Factor Experiences Limited. I thought you would be around, but then I noticed you. Most noticeable in the room. Please come, sir. Very interesting topic, and you know, I would like to evoke my colleague, Jacob Matthew, who came running to me one day, I mean in the recent past. This is because wedding is a very serious business. And Jacob, where are you? Yeah, there you are. You remember when you said, "Arey, election commission ne date badal diye." You know, so the election commission, while announcing the dates for assembly elections, they altered it for Rajasthan because the original date had lots of weddings planned. You know, that day there were like thousands or maybe lakhs of weddings, and Jacob was telling me, "Chunav kaise hoga?" And bingo, he was right. The EC changed the dates, you know. So I'm going to ask you that, you know, weddings or shadi is a very serious business in this country, because if you also noticed how the legal luminaries actually describe marriages when we're talking about, you know, about marital rape and about the laws which are in, you know, which encompass two people who are in a marriage, the spouses. Is it serious because it has a religious significance, or it's more of a social coming together? Sanjana, if you would like to take that question. And I would go to all of you, because people, young people particularly, keep asking, is it because it's religious, or is it because you want to call all the uncle aunties and do bhangra? So tell me.
Hi, Sudha. It's such a pleasure being here with you today. Thank you, TV9, and of course, my esteemed panelists with me here, and everyone. It's interesting, the not so naughty weddings, and I think in India, it's definitely all knotted up because we have the big fat Indian weddings, you know. I don't think we can get away from those, because even when I'm in the US, people always come and ask me, how do you manage these huge number of people? And I tell them, it's not just about two people or two families. It's about a celebration of life. And it's very interesting because today I think down south we've seen it's a little more subtle, but the rituals are more enhanced. When we come up north, it's the exuberance, it's the color, it's the flair and the feel. But today when you look at it, it's intermixed. And we have brought together from north to south to east to west the best of what we stand for. Because as you rightfully asked, is it just about a wedding or is it about the rituals? No, I think it is about making a memory for life.
Right.
It's that one day that is so special, or that 1 week where they celebrate, where you want to make something so mystical, magical, and memorable so that you leave a path for generations to come. I still remember in my family the weddings that are so special because it's not just about the clothing, it's not just about the entertainment, it's not just about people, the uncles and the aunties coming out there. It's about every step that is there.
Right.
People are valuing, and it's our value system. And they say, I do India, which I just so loved. I do India is something which the world looks at, because I think India stands for family, India stands for festivity, and now, yes, we stand for, I think, the I Do India movement.
Vandana, what do you think? Is it more of a social coming together, everybody, or it has very deep religious meanings also?
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. So weddings have always been and will always be about community. Always. The community is very important. So within that big, and also weddings are today and have always been experiences, small or big. So as the wedding goes, I think everything fits into that, whether it's the rituals, whether it's the auntie uncles, whether it's the destinations, whether it's anything. It's about coming together of people, and community in India matters. It doesn't matter north, south, east, or west. A wedding actually signifies the coming together of people and communities, and you can build in as many and nomenclatures. You can say love, you can say romance, you can say rituals, you can say whatever, but it's all about the community.
Chetan?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I don't want to repeat what Vandana or said. They've pretty much said it. But, you know, like Samit said in his presentation, it is one of the most important, one of the 2-3 most important factors in anybody's life. And when it's so important and you're putting in that kind of, we've had clients and we've had people that we've seen who put literally their life savings into a wedding. It's a very important occasion. And it's actually a lot of responsibility from all of us as wedding planners to guide them. So I think that's where the advent of the business really came about. We've taken it very seriously to guide them, to tell them exactly what, and I'm really glad that today there's a whole industry that's born about it with the same sentiment.
All right. You know, Asmita, I'm going to ask you the kind of questions that you get asked, considering I see you wearing a crown and looking absolutely scintillating today.
Thank you so much.
What, according to you, is more important? Is it the method to a wedding, that is the rituals and the singing and dancing and all the little, you know, cultural things that we have? In the South, it's very different from the North. Or is it the wedding, the main wedding itself? Do you think that's more important, or the way we get to the wedding? Pehla ghanta, dusra, tisra, chautha.
First of all, thank you so much for having me here. I feel really privileged to be a part of this particular panel with such esteemed guests. I would like to thank News9 Network, Jyoti Mayal ma'am, for having me here. Thank you. So when I have to answer your question, I feel that the way we get to the wedding is way more important than the wedding, because we belong to India. It's a country where since childhood we are taught about the importance of family, the values which are inculcated in us. And I think the way we celebrate the wedding with everyone is what makes the wedding the wedding. So I definitely feel the celebration is the more important part, because we can just have a marriage in court as well, but that's not how we as Indians want it.
Right.
We want it to be that grand that we remember it for generations. Our children, our grandchildren, everybody is there and feel their sense of the wedding.
All right. So pretty much what Sanjana said, it's about memories. You're making
True.
memories.
I agree.
Mr. Garg, I want to ask you a slightly different question. You know, the numbers as we see the wedding market, it's like huge, like what, 3.75 lakh crores. In 2021, I was reading up, 2.5 million weddings generated a revenue of 3 lakh crores. tell us, how rapidly is the market expanding now if you look year on year? Of course, we've had the pandemic in middle, and that must have impacted the market, but is it burgeoning? Is it something which is really growing exponentially, Mr. Garg?
The market for sure has been growing between 15 to 20%.
Wow.
The exact count of it, whether it is a 16 or a 19, is a difficult task at hand for now, but of a survey which was conducted over a sample size of about 250 people across the country, it's coming to between 15 and 20%. And I think while this segment in itself is going to continue to grow at this pace, may not increase beyond a number of 20% in terms of growth, which in itself is very, very substantial. If the I Do campaign is successful, and if the government and all of us collectively are able to establish India as a sought-after wedding destination to get in business from outside of India, then I think this growth can very comfortably be incremented by another 3 to 6%. So the question is whether we are happy with the 15 or whether we will be able to service at 25.
Wow, lovely answer. Sanjana, tell me, you know, I want some myths to be exploded in this session. When we talk about wedding planner, then we always imagine must be very super rich. You know, these people have loads of money to, some people feel waste on weddings, you know, go for the best designers and, you know, even the costumes, they cost a bomb. But somewhere I was reading and, you know, one journalist had written about how that's a complete myth. I think middle class India, which is the strength of this country, they also now want to have, you know, weddings which are interesting. So do you think that planning weddings and having weddings planned is now very aspirational? So it's not about town A or town B, it's about all of us.
Yes, Sudha, I think today when you look at it, people have realized that when you have, even if it is a small, intimate affair, you want it planned to perfection. And that's when you need the experts to come in, because they bring in what the family cannot do. And like I think Chetan was rightfully saying, the suggestions, because when you're looking to understand your vision, it's the same for when you're creating clothing. You understand what the person is looking for, then you take the expertise and you package the parcel to the best way within the budget that they have.
Right. Vandana, tell me, there was a time when weddings were done in Delhi at least, you know, neighbors used to pitch in. You come sleep in my house, you can use my bathroom if you want to have a shower. We used to put a tent, someone is making tea. You know, those days when you had a big baranda, we would say we'll have a wedding here. And today we have series being made on wedding planners, of course, Made in Heaven, and then we had Band Baja Barat. When did the transition happen, Vandana? You are one of the pioneers in this, you know. When did this transition happen? Ki bhai pandit to chahiye, wedding planner ka.
Are you blaming me for the transition?
No, I'm not. I may blame Karan Johar, but not you, please.
You know, this actually comes nothing so much to do with weddings and getting wedding planners on. Many years ago, I think it was 10 or 15, I'm very bad with the years, outsourcing became a big thing in India. As Indians, we learned the word outsourcing. We learned it in tech, we learned it everywhere else. So with that coming into our minds, the mindset of the Indians started changing. The Indians suddenly had the share market went well. When you did well in the share market, you had some money on your hand. When you had money on your hand, you wanted to spend that money. You did not know how to do it. So there was a time, I remember, and I'm going to say this, when we did a party at home, we cooked ourselves. If it was 40 or 50 people, now we pick up the phone and call a caterer. And my mother said, kya, tumhare ghar mein khana theek nahi hai? That you had to call somebody else to do the food. But that wasn't it. I was saving time, energy, money, resources, getting a choice. We as wedding planners, we as people in the business are really your people who give you choices. We put out the best choices there are across the country, across the world, for people to make that very, very decisive, very important choice in their lives. And that's when outsourcing came. When it became that, then it said, let's hire a florist. Let's hire so-and-so. Then the auntie couldn't come and coordinate everything, or the bua couldn't come and sort out your clothes. She couldn't call the tailor at home and say, abhi lehenga aise banao aur aise karo, because she didn't have the time. Nuclear families, that's what did it for us. And we really become a household name today. There is not a single wedding. It's a rarity that a wedding today happens without a wedding planner. And thank God for that, not because we get the business, we also actually make you spend your money well. I always say this, and I'm going to break this myth. Everybody says, oh, wedding planners are expensive. We don't set the budgets. You do. You as families, you as people, say, I have $100 to spend, or I have $1,000 to spend. It's our job as planners to tell you how best to spend that money. Now, that could be, as Samit said, from 1 lakh to 50 lakhs. And everybody keeps talking about the big, fat Indian wedding. It's not new. The Indian wedding was always big, fat. It always had different connotations. It was villages to villages, cities to cities. It may have been done in their homes, but the nomenclature of a big, fat Indian wedding existed. What has changed is the numbers game. And you saw from the I Do campaign, you saw from the numbers that Samit showed us, that the game has completely, completely changed today. And today, it's a profession. And I'm very, very proud to say I am a wedding planner.
Fantastic. Chetan, I want to ask you, she said that we always had, Vandana was saying, we always had big weddings. They were at home, now they've shifted because of nuclear families, changes which have taken place in our society. I want to ask you that this is a big myth, and she just exploded it. She said, I'm not making your budget, you are. We work around it. Tell me, does that mean that it's not just SECA that you're looking at? I mean, you're looking at all kinds of demographics, and all of them have the aspiration to have wedding planners. Is that right, Chetan?
So if you see the shift today in the other cities, you'll be surprised, and I think the esteemed audience who's traveled, and because most of you are from the trade, if you see what happens in the smaller cities today, you see Agra, you see Kanpur, you see not just North India, you go down to South India, you see certain places, Coimbatore, for example. I know many years ago, I had a client who was a Mercedes dealer out of Chandigarh, who came and told me that the highest number of cars he sells is in a place called Khanna in Punjab. And he said every house there has a Mercedes because that's their benchmark of arrival. And I was surprised. And I told my team, I said, then why, if they can afford Mercedes, and they should be getting married in style. And it's surprising that this shift has now come on. You see bags, you see clothes, you see the way they live, the aspiration of sending their children to colleges. I know when you see the number of kids coming out to US and UK colleges are coming from towns you might not even have heard of. You realize that they're willing to, they have the money, they have this new awareness that this can be done in a professional manner. And most importantly, they'd also like trying to do it a little differently. So there is really no, it's not the right generalization to say that, maybe the money's only in India. There are different segments of audiences, but the aspiration to do something, even if it's a small party, Diwali, for example, or any cultural significant event, is something that they want to outsource to professionals. So yeah, it's a big shift.
Fantastic, and that's what makes, I think that's why India is growing, I mean, year after year, because it's not just the metropolises, but also other cities, which, like you said, all of you have said, is aspirational, they have the money, and they want the best things.
In the defense of Made in Heaven, I think it has helped us as well. I get a lot of calls now from people saying that, wo dekha tha wahan pe, us particular episode, I hadn't seen it I hadn't seen season 2 until we started getting queries of saying, can you see episode number 4, wo ek jhumka tha, hame wahi chahiye.
Rocky and Rani also has done it for us.
Rocky and Rani as well. So thank you, filmmakers. Please continue doing it.
Asmita, tell me something. I have seen a lot of young people, I've attended weddings. A lot of them are now also, kind of do not want the rituals which they think are archaic. Like a friend's daughter did not want the word Kanyadan to be featured anywhere. she said, no, I'm not someone to be given in dan. No dan will happen. You know, of course there is panigrahi, which is also a kind of a ritual. But she protested, and instead she went for Buddhist chants while she was exchanging vows with her husband. Tell me something. Are rituals really important to you, or you think that it could be anything as long as there is love and there is honesty?
Well, I do think that there could be anything as long as it is love and honesty, but rituals are important because of the family, probably. Maybe they want to see the wedding in a certain way, but I would also like to mention that the times are changing. So I would take a personal example where I have seen in the weddings that the priest is now being replaced by a female priest. And I have attended weddings myself where I have a very close relative of mine who is a female priest, and she's doing really well because what they do is personalize the chants that are being taken during the wedding. So it's not like you just keep on going and chanting and speaking any ritual, but the rituals are actually explained. The meaning of what you're actually saying or the vows that you're taking are explained, and that's how the wedding takes place. So I think at this point of time, to have that tradition along with the modernity, I think it's important to know what you're doing rather than just going on. And these trends really make the wedding interesting. You do not have to monotonously sit and watch the entire process, but you can enjoy the wedding because you know what you're actually talking about. So I think this trend.
That's lovely. Yeah, with women as priests. I mean, yes, indeed. Vandana, you want to say something? Or?
No, I was just going to say that exactly what she's saying, that there is parampara and there is modernity. I think it's about both. And the rituals today, lots of youngsters are going for what they call non-ritualistic weddings, whether you said Buddhist chants or whether... So I think what is important to the younger generation to understand what they are doing. It's very important to know, why am I taking the 7 steps? Why am I taking char phera? Why am I matha taking at the darbar? You know, why am I doing a certain thing? So they are against the whole concept of just being ritualistic and performing of rituals, which according to them probably doesn't relate to them, because when we were growing up, we were never explained. We would just put on a mandap and say swaha, swaha, and we didn't know what the hell the Pandit was saying. But today, they want to know what is it that they are doing and why are they there. They are happy to do the rituals because actually, as a Pandit one explained to me, that every ritual that we do is not for the sake of a ritual. There is a very deep-rooted meaning for each one of them, but we were never explained that.
Right.
Today, they are asking for that explanation.
Samit, I want to ask you that destination weddings are big now. I mean, you seldom see somebody who is not going in for destination weddings. I have 2 questions for you. One is, I have somebody who plans weddings and says that the Indian ritualistic weddings, whether it's from Bengal or from Tamil Nadu, they are really nightmarish. It's not like you just go there, you look at the bride, you say, okay, my dear, we exchange rings and we kiss the bride and off you go, throw the flowers, just married, car, the end. But you know, all this is very complicated. Christian weddings, he feels, is much simpler. A, do you think our weddings are nightmarish? Number 2, why is it that there is so much of focus on destination weddings? Someone I know wants to go to Gopalpur in Orissa to have a wedding. His mother is having a myocardial. So, you know, I just explained that. I will.
I don't think so. Destination weddings are nightmarish at all. Or any kind of a wedding celebration for that matter. Because the moment you start calling it a celebration, is something that you actually decided to do by choice. And nobody's put a gun on your temple and has said to you, okay, yehi karna hai. So, you know, all of this that has been spoken of is very, very relevant. But there are 2, 3 words which are also very important, and they need to be stitched to everything else. The way weddings are celebrated in our culture is a socio-economic fabric that we've grown up with. We've always seen it like that. And to a great extent, it also brings about a huge element of aspiration. And, you know, this word emotion in the context of Indian culture is very, very important. We are emotionally attached to our families. And especially parents are more than emotionally attached to their children. So what they want to deliver is something which मैं तो चांद तारे लाके रख दूं. So that's the kind of sentiment. So because of which it just happens like that. So I don't think so it's nightmarish at all. It has become much more simpler because 25 years ago, the mama in the house used to be the event manager, the chacha used to be responsible for the kitchen and the halwai, the tauji used to be responsible for the tent wala. We as a fraternity have made all of those things very, very convenient for everybody. So life has only become simpler. Complexities have been taken away. It has become simple. So I'm sorry, not because of the fact that I belong to that industry, am I advocating this, but it is the reality. Second part of your question was to do with, sorry, if you'll just quickly remind me. No, rituals.
Rituals, yes. Nightmarish.
I think it's a matter of belief, faith, and respect. Respect for the elders in the family because हमको तो पता नहीं है ये rituals हमने school में पढ़े नहीं, so we have no knowledge of it. It has been coming down over ages. We do it because, and if you look back into families, you will see your mother ask your grandmother, and if there is somebody other senior living, everybody will go on asking to their senior because we don't know. It's a culture and tradition that's been coming down. And what Vandana rightly said, and you also spoke about it, there are a few people today, no, you actually spoke about it. There's a wedding that we're working on for next year where the bride has said, I don't want Kanyadan. Who am I? Why am I being objectified? How can somebody dan karo me? So we understand all of that. So, but it's okay. People, there is definitely a lot of discipline that comes to the celebration because of these rituals.
And I've completely run out of time, but Indian weddings are beautiful. And also, Samit, remember you spoke about Chachaji, Tayaji. Fufaji is very important. Apparently, he's always very, very angry.
All the Gs are very important. The list is endless.
Yeah. So to all the Fufajis, thank you so much. You audience, you've been wonderful. A round of applause for such a brilliant panel.
Can I just finish off with one sentence, please? Because we have the hoteliers here.
Sorry?
We have the hotel industry here. I need to say this. And I need to say it to the travel industry, and I need to say it to the hotel industry. We may not be your favorite people, because we come in and do business directly. We may not be the people that you want to see, but you know something? We need you. We need you. And it should be reciprocal as well. Absolutely. And the fact that why is there one norm for the travel industry in the hotel industry, and why is there no norm at all for the event manager? I will pay $150 for that room, but the travel industry would pay $80 or $90 for the room. Is our business not important to you? Please, I'm leaving you with that thought. Thank you.
Thank you, Vandana, and thank you so much, Sanjana. Thank you, Vandana. Thank you, Chetan. Asmita, it was such a pleasure. Samit, thank you very much. Hope all of you enjoyed the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. Request you to please be on stage. Can we please have on stage Ms. Jyoti Mayal, President, the Iconic Experiences Show, and Mr. Raktan Das, Chief Growth Officer, TV9 Network, to come on stage and felicitate the panelists. Thank you, Mr. Garg, for the wonderful session. Your keynote as well. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please have a round of applause for the wonderful panelists? Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We are just preparing for lunch in the next 5 minutes. And you can catch up, and it could be a networking lunch. So we will just let you know in the next 5 minutes. Please be seated. We can open the gates for the lunch. Please open the gates.
We are taking to the skies, filled with new hope and ambition, as the proud flag bearer of a soaring nation. Air India.
Through a window of possibilities, we are inspired by what can be, to fly higher and higher. Air India.